Please tell us your name.
Jessica Bratton.
And have you personally been affected by suicide?
Yes. Back in November of 2012, my stepmom, who had been married to my dad for 10 years, and had a little girl together who was 16 at the time and lived with my stepmom, overdosed on pills and committed suicide.
And what impact has that had on your life?
Well, it's had a huge impact on my life. My kids, who are 7 and 8, were both home at the time that I got the phone call, or shortly after I got the phone call. And so they heard us talking about how she had died, and that someone had died, and even heard the word suicide. So I had to explain first and foremost to my children what suicide meant and why people decide to commit it. So that's been hard on my family. They were very close with my stepmom, and she loved them tremendously as well. So personally, it's impacted my family that way. Also, with my little sister that lived at the home at the time and found her mother unconscious, has had tremendous battles with the whole situation. Not only with her mom passing away and having to completely uproot her life and start her life all over again, but she's had to learn how to live without a mom and how to go through everything that we go through every day with parents, but without parents. So it's hard to mother your sister. It's hard to tell her the right direction to go because I'm not her mom, but I've always been able to answer questions for her or help her along her journey. And this is something that I have not been able to help with. I don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of the circumstances around it, and so it's been hard that I can't help her through this, besides just being there for her.
What advice do you have for the students watching this video?
Don't take anyone for granted, number one, because you don't know how long they're going to be here. And, I think it's really hard to really tell you to help somebody out that you feel like, is going down the wrong path as far as suicide goes, because most of the time the people that actually go through with the act, it's too late before you ever knew that there was a problem. Another thing that you probably don't realize with people that are around you, people that are in your class, people that have suffered from, mainly a parent committing suicide, is that, your mom and dad are there to order your invitations for graduation. They're there to watch you walk down the aisle. They're there to move you into your first dorm room. They're there to watch you walk down the aisle at your wedding and, by your side when you have your first kid. And for the people, for the sons and the daughters that are, I forgot what I was going to say. For the sons and the daughters that are missing a parent at those most important times in their lives, have a hard time with going through with all of those acts. So I would just say to support those around you, because you never know the battle that they're fighting.
Please tell us your name.
Steve Mitchum.
And have you ever personally been affected by suicide?
Yes, I have.
And how has suicide affected you?
Well, it's affected me in a number of ways on a number of different levels. I actually have two people that I've known very well that have committed suicide, both fairly recently. My ex-wife committed suicide about a year and a half ago, and we have a daughter together, and I have seen the personal effects that has had in her life. Anything from sadness and despair to loneliness and all kinds of things. And I've seen the grief and the pain of what that leaves behind when somebody commits suicide. Because, the saying of there's no man is an island unto himself. Nobody totally lives in a vacuum. So that what we do, our actions affect other people around us. Now, most people who commit suicide, I believe, are in such a mental state of despair that they really can't fathom what's going to happen, how it's going to affect other people. They're typically so self-embroiled in their issues that they can't see the other side of that, and that's not harsh criticism. I think that's just a fact that they would have never gotten to that place in their life to take their own lives if they hadn't been so wrapped up in what was going on with them. So I don't think they necessarily think about the ramifications, but I've seen it firsthand and lived with it, and of course that was a part of my life that is also gone. Though we've been divorced many years, she was still a friend and mother of my child. So, and then just as recently as about a month ago, a friend of mine who has been a casual friend, but for the last 12 years, committed suicide, and it just makes you realize that how fragile life is, how quickly everything can change and be over. But it also makes you realize as a person that there's just nothing worth taking your own life over. The sun comes up the next day. The problems you're experiencing today perhaps will be gone a week from now or a month from now, and certainly at some point in the future. They rarely ever stay forever. So life's too beautiful, it's too precious, too sweet, and it's just a sad thing when something like that happens. But it does make you appreciate your life, your loved ones, and everything you have more so when it happens.
What advice would you give the people watching this video?
I think I'd give two pieces of advice. Number one, the first piece of advice I would give is that never forget really how precious life is. And it's the greatest gift that we have. And you can't buy it, can't sell it, you can't trade it. We get one shot. And, if anybody was ever that discouraged or that depressed, there will definitely be a better day. I've had bad days. We all have. But there will be better days. And life's too beautiful to throw away. And secondly, if you have someone around you that you see is in a dark place, and in neither of these cases were we aware that there were any thoughts of suicidal thoughts. At least I was not. And I don't think the people around them were aware of it. But if you have any concern, make sure you're the kind of friend that person can count on and be there for them, so that you can hopefully have some hand in making somebody's life better so they don't do something like that themselves.